There are 5 things to look for in a good preacher. Great preachers make it all about Jesus and not about themselves. Again, John had lots of people coming out to hear him preached, and lots of lives were changed, and scores of people were baptized in the Jordan River. But none of that success, so to speak, ever went to his head. Some people even wondered, John, are you the Christ? Are you the one that God was going to send into the world? And John said, no, not me. I'm only a preacher preparing the way for the one who is going to come after me. He is going to be so powerful and preach with such authority that I'm not even worthy to stoop down and touch his feet. He's referring, of course, to Jesus. Jesus, who was about to start his ministry, and we actually see what happens here when John points his disciples toward Jesus. This is what happens in John chapter 1. It says, "The next day, John saw Jesus coming toward him and said, 'Look, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. This is the one I meant when I said, a man who comes after me has surpassed me because he was before me.'" So John didn't want to be in the spotlight. He wanted to hold the spotlight on Jesus so that people could see Jesus. A good preacher never makes it about himself, always makes it about Jesus. I remember one of the first sermons that I had ever written. I had taken it to a few different congregations kind of nearby the seminary. They were kind enough to let seminary students come and try out their first sermon at their church. And I'll never forget, one church in particular was a little church out in the country, and I had really worked hard on this sermon. I was a little nervous for it. Were people going to be interested in what I was saying? Were they going to fall asleep? Were they going to laugh at the one joke that I wrote in the sermon? I even wrote in there, pause for laughter, in the manuscript. And I had gotten my hair cut, and I was just really, going to present this sermon. I was nervous about how the people were going to receive it. And there were maybe about a dozen people gathered there in that little country church. And I got up to the pulpit, and in this church, on the top of the pulpit, where only the preacher could see, was inscribed John chapter 12, verse 21. It says, "Sir, we wish to see Jesus." And that's always stuck with me, because that's what people want to hear. That's who people want to see. You didn't come to see me. You came to see Jesus. That's what a good preacher is going to do, not want the spotlight on himself, but to hold the spotlight on Jesus. John said, "Don't look at me. Look at Jesus. Look, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." The second mark of a good preacher is that he would know the Scriptures.